Hello and welcome. Our lesson for today is all about the Philippine foreign policy. Before we begin our lesson, let me remind you of our class rules and safety regulations. First, listen carefully to this video. Second, ensure that a facilitator will be with you as you play this video. Third, please adhere to the minimum health protocols and restrictions wherever you are. Lastly, when in danger, such as earthquake or fire hazard, please adhere to the latest announcements in your local area. Let me introduce myself. I am Joshua S. Manalo, a civilian human resource of the Philippine Air Force, and currently a T-First Research Officer 2 at the Philippine Air Force Aviation Leadership and Excellence Nexus. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to assess how the foreign policy of the Philippines works. You will be also to define what foreign policy means, identify the pillars of Philippine foreign policy, examine the foreign policy realities of the Philippines, and evaluate the different actions of the Philippines in the field of foreign policy. To start our lesson, let me give you a motivation. I will show you a series of videos about the Philippine foreign policy, and you must give insights as to how the Philippines conducts its foreign policy. You may click the link as shown so that you can give your policy through Google Forms. Please ask your facilitator on how to use the Google Forms and to play the succeeding video.
Philippine President Duterte puts on hold once again his decision to abrogate the country's visiting forces agreement with the U.S. Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. says Duterte has suspended the abrogation by another 6 months. Duterte's order comes as both sides address his concerns over specific aspects of the security agreement. Locsin did not provide further details. This is the third time Duterte has suspended the VFA's abrogation since he ordered its unilateral termination in February last year. The deal allows American troops to be stationed on a rotational basis in the Philippines.
The U.S. lawmaker is pushing for a bill seeking to suspend America's security aid to the Philippines. Pennsylvania Representative Susan Wild says it's in response to the mass human rights violations committed by the Duterte regime against dissidents, including labor organizers and members of the clergy. Wild reintroduced before the U.S. Congress the Philippine Human Rights Act on Monday. If passed, assistance to the Philippine Armed Forces and the Philippine National Police could be suspended indefinitely. Loans to these institutions can also be vetoed by U.S. multilateral banks.
What this bill says is very simple. U.S. taxpayer funds should not be used to supply weapons to a regime that violently targets its political opponents. By blocking assistance to Philippine security forces until such time as human rights standards are met, this bill makes a common sense proposition. Standing up for human rights requires more than rhetoric. It requires action. We respect the sovereignty of your country. This is about our sovereignty. It's about U.S. taxpayers having a say over where our tax dollars go.
So ano daw po ang mangyayari sa pulong ng Israel official at ng Philippine Embassy sa investigasyon ng UN sa kaguluhan sa Israel at Palestine? Paano po ito makakaapekto sa relasyong diplomatiko ng Israel at Pilipinas?
Nagkaroon na po ng pagpupulong ang embahada at ang gobyerno po ng Israel tungkol po sa nangyaring botohan sa UN Human Rights Council sa Geneva. Ginagawa po natin ang lahat ng paraan para po yung impact ng naging botohan doon ay hindi maapektuhan ang mga nandito po sa Israel at ang ating relasyon sa bansa ng Israel. Makakasiguro po kayo na ang Department of Foreign Affairs, ang Embahada ng Pilipinas ay ng lahat para mapanatili po na maganda ang relasyon natin sa bansa ng Israel.
Opo. Ambassador, ilang pong Pilipino tayo meron sa Israel ngayon?
Opo, more than 29,000 po ang nandito po sa Israel.
Opo. Maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak ninyo, Ambassador, sa amin. Mag-ingat po kayo dyan. Philippine Ambassador to Israel, Makairog, Alberto. Mabuhay po kayo, Ambassador.
For you to be able to understand what foreign policy means, let me discuss it with you. Foreign policy refers to the objectives and activities of a state in dealing with other states. Meanwhile, foreign relations is the management of relationships and dealings with another country, and is usually a result of foreign policy. Foreign policy, on one hand, are the guidelines to which the Philippines conducts its relations with other countries, while foreign relations are the dynamics and exchanges between the Philippines and other countries to further each other's national interests. Foreign relations and foreign policy are often interchanged with each other, but they are in two separate concepts. There are two major constitutional provisions as to how the Philippines conducts its foreign policy. Both can be read at Article 2 of the Philippine Constitution. On Article 2, Section 2, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts the general principles of international law as law of the land, and adheres to the policy of peace, equality, and justice. This means that the Philippines is a ready member of the international community. As a member of the international community, the Philippines adheres to the peaceful relationship with other countries and has avoided engaging itself with wars of different nations. Its participation in the Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, and the War on Terror does not violate this constitutional provision, but rather the participation of the Philippines in these activities are in the best interest of its national security and national interests, as these events have either direct or indirect consequence with the welfare of the Filipino people, both in the country and in the regions where these wars were conducted. Meanwhile, Section 7 declares that the Philippines has an independent foreign policy, which means that the basis of foreign policy include national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. Independent foreign policy does not mean that the foreign policy of the Philippines is not influenced by any other interest, but rather independent foreign policy pertains into the concept that the Philippines is a sovereign state and its conduct of its affairs, whether domestic or international, doesn't have to be interfered by any other state or organization. The Philippines is free to befriend any state or join any organization, as this is the main principle of an independent foreign policy, that it does not recognize any interference from a state or an organization that will hinder friendly relations with another state or another organization. The Foreign Service Act of 1991 establishes the three pillars of Philippine foreign policy. These pillars represent the rationale behind how the Philippines conducts its relations with other countries. These pillars also establishes the national interest of the Philippines in terms of its conduct of foreign policy. Further, these pillars guides the diplomats as to what actions they can perform in terms of establishing relations with other states and international organizations. First is the preservation and enhancement of national security. This means that the Philippines pursues foreign policy according to what is good for national security. The Philippines is in a strategic position in the Asia-Pacific region. This is why the Philippines very much perseveres to keep national security at hand in the performance of its foreign policy. National security does not only involve domestic peace and order, but rather peace and development in the international arena. As a member of the international community, the Philippines adheres to peaceful settlement of disputes as well as amicable settlement between states and the peaceful resolution to any conflict. Second is the promotion and attainment of economic security. As we all know, the economy is one of the major pillars of the country. And whenever the economy is strengthened through foreign policy, this promotes the general welfare of the Filipino people. International trade and investment is one of the main activities of foreign policies of different nations. This is why the Philippines has established this pillar to be able to promote growth in the country through investments from other countries. It is also an active partner in international trade through the World Trade Organization and other related organizations. The third pillar is the protection of the rights and promotion of welfare and interest of Filipinos overseas. As a nation with many immigrants, the Philippines adheres to a foreign policy that benefits Filipinos overseas as well as their families here in the Philippines. This is why we are very stringent in sending Filipinos abroad for work, travel, and education. Aside from the pillars of foreign policy, there are 8 foreign policy realities that the Philippines adheres to. First, China, Japan, and the United States. And our relationship with these countries play a vital role in ensuring the security and economic situation in East Asia. This means that these countries are able to influence the Asia-Pacific region in which the Philippines is also located, and this could affect the relationships between countries in the region. The next reality is that as a member of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, the Philippine foreign policy are usually in the context of what the ASEAN does. The major tenets of the ASEAN foreign policy is non-interference and consensus among member states. This means that whenever there is a problem in the ASEAN region, all member states have to consent with each other as to what they will do as an association. The next reality is that the international Islamic community will continue to be important to the Philippines. As the country has experienced various Islamic and separatist movements, the role of Islamic community has been vital in attaining peace and security in areas wherein there was a Muslim secessionist movements. The role of Islamic states, particularly the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, has been vital in attaining the peace and security that we are experiencing in the Bangsamoro region. Thus, this reality is a vital tool in creating the Philippine foreign policy. The Philippines also recognizes the role of international and inter-regional organizations as they increase their role in the international world order. These associations, such as the United Nations and its instrumentalities, as well as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, are vital actors in the international arena. As member state, they adhere to what the rules and regulations that these organizations have, and that this also forms Philippine foreign policy in terms of how the country conducts its economic and political affairs. So as an archipelagic state, the Philippines has two main problems. First is its national sovereignty, and second is the protection of the environment. As a reality, the Philippines recognizes that these two national interests can only be defended through the recognition and assertion of our rights and the recognition of other states into these rights. The decision of the International Tribunal of the Law of the Seas against China when claiming its rights in the South China Sea is one of the actions that the Philippines has done to be able to assert its rights in the West Philippine Sea in pursuance of its national interest. This decision has been vital in the implementation of policies related to the West Philippine Sea. The next reality is that the economic policy of the Philippines will continue to be friendly towards local and foreign direct investments. These investments will be able to bring growth and prosperity that the Philippines needs to achieve to be able to pursue its national interest and defend the rights and welfare of Filipinos, both here and abroad. Further, the Philippines believes that it can benefit quickly from international tourism. This economic activity is able to bring people, capital, and growth that the Philippines desires to be able to serve its national interest. The last reality is that overseas Filipinos will continue to be recognized for their crucial role in attaining economic and social stability in the Philippines. While they are not here in the Philippines, their international remittances is a huge part of the Philippine economy and is vital in the deliverance of services of the government to both overseas Filipinos and those that are living here in the Philippines. Now that I have explained to you the three pillars of Philippine foreign policy and its 8 realities, let me now give you an activity. Here you will be able to assess Philippine foreign policy on your own perspective. Kindly choose a foreign policy reality and identify an action that the Philippines has done in the last 5 years. Assess whether it aligns with any of the pillars of the Philippine foreign policy. You may write in not more than 2 pages in Arial, font size 12, and it should be single-spaced. Please ask your facilitator for the deadline and the manner of how it will be submitted. You may use Google Classroom or whatever learning management system you have in your course. As I end this lesson, let me give you a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Be civil to all, sociable with many, familiar with few, friend to one, enemy to none. This quotation is a great example on how the Philippine foreign policy works. To sum up, I have discussed to you 4 primary concepts: the difference between foreign relations and foreign policy, the constitutional provisions on Philippine foreign policy, the 3 pillars of Philippine foreign policy, and the 8 realities in foreign policy. Listed here are the references used for this lesson. I hope you can read further on these references for you to be able to understand further Philippine foreign policy. Once again, this is Joshua Manalo saying goodbye, and may the Air Force be with you.